This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. I hope you enjoyed this Critical Thought, your daily discussion on game design. Welcome to today's Critical Thought. As always, before we get going, once again, thank you to 885 subscribers here on YouTube. I hope everyone is enjoying the great content. For those of you just tuning in, if you are liking things, be sure to subscribe as we are on our way to 900. Normally, I don't do Critical Thoughts on the days we record a Game Wisdom Live, but we have a very special topic I want to talk about. Before we get to that, one other bit of information or question for you folks watching. As you probably have seen, I've adjusted the posting for videos on the YouTube channel to about one game-related video a day and one critical thought normally a day. Does that work for you folks? Would you like to see more content daily? Because as you know, I usually post my videos to be a little bit bigger than most of the other YouTubers, usually averaging 30 minutes to an hour, depending upon the size and scope of the game. And I know that too much content, and you guys aren't going to be able to see it all a day. But for those of you watching this, whether you are first-time viewers or long-time subscribers, what do you think? Would you like to see more content daily, or keep it to about this average? Anyway, let me know below. Let's get rid of that little sub count there. For today's Critical Thought, this is about a topic that is somewhat near and dear to me, and that is a discussion of gambling in the video game industry. If you're a frequent visitor to the site or listen to the podcast, you know that I have a despisement of gambling. I can't think of any stronger word for that. I come from a family of heavy gamblers, so I've had a chance to see what gambling addiction can do firsthand. And in a surprising turn of events, we have a potentially major issue affecting the game industry coming from my home state of New Jersey. And that has to do with the company GameCo, and they have soft launch, or they're testing in Atlantic City, their video game gambling machine, or VGM. If you want more information about them and my post on it, it should be somewhere up there right now. So this was something that they talked about in early September, and it's been rolled out in Atlantic City a few days ago by the time you're watching this. And what makes this unique is that this is the first time that someone is creating a skill-based gambling platform. As we know, gambling in the past has been built on the rules of probability and the laws of gambling. Skill is not a factor as much as probability and randomness. There is obviously skill with poker, card playing, stuff like that. But when we talk about slot machines, roulette, and even something like blackjack, it's still going to be built on fighting the house. And as we all know, the house always wins. What GameCo is trying to build is a machine, or trying to promote, is a machine that takes the player's skill into the equation. And if you watch the video on their site, which is linked to my post that's up there right now, then they talk about explicitly targeting the millennial crowd, the 30 to 40-year-olds who may not have grown completely up with games, but prefer, mobile and freemium titles as opposed to sitting in front of a slot machine for 8 to 10 hours a day, which, as we know, the majority of the casino audience does, the elderly. So their plan is to try and implement games and gaming. And while my face may be smiling right now, it really isn't on the inside. Their first project, or their first title, is called Danger Arena, which if you click on the link above to my post, you can see the actual demonstration of it. How it works is you make a bet, whether it's 50 cents, $20, and this can be changed and altered depending upon the casino and state. And you get 45 seconds of play to kill robots in a first-person shooting arena. Kill 6 robots and you earn money. And then 7, 8, 9, 10 earns you more, with 10 essentially being the jackpot. They also talked about having a power-up which supposedly adds like a $100 bonus. But again, this was during their demonstration at a gaming convention, not on a casino room floor. So all this can obviously be tweaked and altered. Essentially the house is the maps themselves. They're not procedurally generated. They are all hard-coded and then randomly picked whenever you play. So I could put in my money and get a very easy map where I get, 6 robot kills immediately, or I could get a map that it could take me 30 of my 45 seconds to get that 6. Now, with that said, anyone who's studied either freemium, mobile, or arcade design has probably heard of this term: metrics-driven gameplay. Metrics-driven gameplay, let me just make sure that I actually got it right here, is essentially the design of focusing on, metrics-driven gameplay, I was right, is the focus of analytics and essentially motivators to figure out how much money you can get from someone on a single quarter or a single play. It's a fancier term for saying that money drives the game rather than gameplay and the consumer's engagement. The arcade industry heavily favored metrics-driven gameplay for pretty much since its rise, fall, and where it's at today. When you play an arcade machine like Double Dragon, The Simpsons, Time Crisis, essentially anything that's not competitive based, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct, etc., there are metrics designed to basically get as much money out of a single player as possible. This can be determined by how enemies attack, how you can properly dodge attacks, to even the fact that special attacks used to cost you health so that it would bring you closer to death and closer to spending more money. Now, arcade designers and operators, of course, said that skill was a major factor, and yes, a skillful player could get far, but these machines were designed with the explicit purpose to sell or to get money first, provide entertainment third or fourth. And if that sounds familiar, then you've probably have seen and heard talks from freemium developers and, courting the whales. And again, the metrics behind when to place an ad, when to raise the difficulty curve to get people, hooked before you ask them for money. It's all very analytical and very psychology driven, and there's of course the ethical debate, which we don't have time today to talk about that. That's who knows how many critical thoughts worth of content there. But it is a very serious issue. The idea behind integrating game mechanics and games into gaming has been a very long and arduous debate. Again, when we have an industry built on getting people hooked and continuing to play, throwing in gambling on top of that doesn't sit right with a lot of people, including yours truly here. And if you've listened or if you read some of the comments on some of the videos we've talked about, I know there are a lot of you who aren't as fans of gambling and games just like me. Now, the other part of what GameCo is proposing, and this is where things get very serious, is if something like Danger Arena picks up and is popular, they could extend this into creating video game casinos featuring games that they've created or other gaming companies, and retrofitting or altering licensed and games that have already been released to this kind of video game gaming machine purposes. On their site, they showed a video that had a few seconds of Injustice, and they've said about fighting games. And this is where it gets very icky for me. Icky being the term I'm going to use, because if I was less of a gentleman or less mannered, I would be swearing right now. As we talked about, with metrics-driven gameplay, it is designed to get money at the expense of gameplay. So designing or retrofitting or altering games to promote gambling really doesn't sit right with me. And the fact that the temptation is there for publishers to put the gambling first as opposed to the gameplay. I mean, we've been seeing examples of this with free-to-play monetization and some of the less than reputable free-to-play games. Whether it's something like EA's Dungeon Keeper, Goddess from 22 Cans, and so many free-to-play examples. And the cynic in me is telling me that if game companies were given the option to make their games more gambling friendly to earn a lot more money, I'm betting, no pun intended, that a lot of publishers would go that route at the expense of making a competent and a game that could stand on its own. One of the reasons why the video game industry, or I'm sorry, the home console market overtook the arcade industry in the mid-90s and then into the thousands was the fact that the home market moved away from metrics-driven gameplay. It's how we got games like Final Fantasy, Mario Galaxy, The Last of Us, Shadow of the Colossus, you name it, is part of that example. Because they want to provide entertainment and interesting games as opposed to just getting money through gambling. And I just feel that, especially in today's world, where we've already been seeing gambling sort of getting its hooks into the game industry, whether it's by free-to-play or the buying, selling, and gambling of digital items online, this just seems like a very bad next step. And like I said, I don't want to see more gambling mechanics in games. I'd rather see less of that. Now, with that said, of course, I have to give credit where credit is due. GameCo has a brilliant idea. There's no denying that this could be a potentially groundbreaking concept for them. With that said, it's one that I would like to see die very quickly. But I have a feeling that it's not. Like I said at the start, this is being rolled out right now in Atlantic City, which is near me. But we haven't seen this roll out to other casinos and other states. For those of you who don't know, every state has its own laws and regulations regarding gambling. It's kind of the issues with the idea of, fantasy football, online poker, stuff like that. So if it does really well here, chances are this could be adopted in major casinos like in Las Vegas. I hope it doesn't, but I don't know what's going to happen in the next month or two. But I'm going to wrap up today's Critical Thought here because I have to get ready for Game Wisdom Live tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you've been enjoying the content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Check out the Patreon campaign if you like ways to support everything and earn some nifty rewards in the process. And other than that, remember, for those of you watching this on Thursday, we're going to be having a live play with Robert Swan on Twitch, channel GW Bycer at 3 o'clock EST, and that will be uploaded to YouTube in a few days. So before we get going, if you have any comments regarding video game gambling, be sure to leave them below. Check out the post that should have been up there at some point during this video. And once again, I'm Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com, where we examine the art and science of games. Have a great day. Be sure to come back for the live show, or if it's already been posted, be sure to check out that recording when it goes up. And I will see you all tomorrow with more great content. Take care. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoy it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and of course share with your friends. It always helps out. For daily posts on all manner of game design and industry topics, check out game-wisdom.com. To support the site and everything that I do, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. If we can hit goals, it will mean more content for everyone to enjoy, and I'll be able to support myself and my household. If you want to follow me, you can find me on Twitter at GWBycer for updates throughout the day and random thoughts from me. And lastly, you can find me on Twitch right over there at GWBycer for daily streams most nights around 10 Eastern. Thanks again for watching the video, and be sure to check out more great content coming to the Game Wisdom channel real soon.